Okay, one of those RCSparks guys, sorry I can't quite recall the name, he asked me how I managed to do my trailer hitch and, just the setup and whatnot of it. I might as well just go over the whole truck here on a whole, but, that's the truck, and there's my trailer. The trailer is made of, as far as I know, it's 100% aluminum, dual axles. They are not leaf springs, but it does have a form of suspension, which does work. It's actually quite loose. It does have working lights. The guy that made it, he just said he used like hot glue or super glue or something, and all the wiring underneath there is all glued apparently. This trailer, I specifically measured when I wanted this thing built that it would fit an average RC width and length. And as you can see on the forum, it did fit a stock Wraith, and it does fit my Ridgecrest on it, which is impressive actually because it's pretty wide. It did come with these that he put on. Not exactly sure what these are. Like a bristle board type thing. This one did come unglued, but I mean that's a simple fix. He did the same thing with these, same type of rough material, and I presume that he just super glued them to other piece of aluminum that has a little bend in the end with two nuts and bolts, which you can put in like that, and adjacently, whoops, on this end. And I mean, they're adjustable as well, so I mean, if you have narrower tires, then do that. And then when you're driving, just put them like this, just like that. And then you got your tie down points along here, wheel wells here. I'm not really sure how we did these, but they are like, I'm not actually sure what that material is called, but it's like that, like this stuff here. But it is aluminum as far as I know, and he must have just curved them. But I mean, they do look really nice. The wiring snakes through here, comes up here into this nice little built-in box. This is where I store my bungees and a chain and whatnot, just tie stuff down. Here's the battery box, also presumably waterproof. He said just runs on 2 AA's. Hit the switch. And you got your side lights, you got some red lights there, you got 4 brake lights, and then you got your orange and your red light on the other side as well. So yeah, okay, I guess I might as well get on to the actual hitch part here, if I can get these hooks and stuff over there. Yeah, it did come with a jack as well that he had put in, which is really cool, actually. Little jack here, just a piece of wood, and it just bolts on. Put it to the side when you're pulling. When you're not pulling it, just pops up like that. Turn these lights off just so I don't kill the battery. There we go. Okay. Now, what he had originally put on this was like an eye, like a piece of metal that had like an O on it, and then a bolt, like a threaded end on the other end, and that's what he just used for all of his trailers pretty much. But what I ended up making, because it was appropriate for my RC 4-wheel drive 2.0 aluminum silver hitch that I bought for an SCX10 chassis, I ended up taking 2 bungee hooks, like two of those small bungee cords, like what I got here, like just these small bungees you can buy. Oops, you can buy these at like Walmart or whatever, just small bungee cords. I cut the hooks off of them. I put one through here where it's too big to fit through like that, and I took my pliers and I crimped it so it stayed onto the second hook. And there's my second hook right here. And what this does is it goes around the ball, and the ball keeps it in place and it can't come off. The only way to get this on is to come around and then pull back, and it stays on there and bumps don't knock it off or anything. A very crude and kind of wonky hitch, but it's only temporary. I do plan on actually crafting myself like an aluminum or a steel hitch, but I mean, all comes in time. It did come with these safety chains as well, which work really good with the truck actually, because the bumper actually has some really sweet holes that are like perfect for these. Just put on these stickers and whatever. So yeah, that's the trailer. I don't know, I'd say this probably weighs like, maybe about 7 or 8 pounds, probably about 7. But I mean, your hitch weight isn't too bad. It'd be better with a better hitch, but I mean, truck still pulls it rather easily. But yeah, that's the trailer. The way it hooks up to the truck. Okay, here's my RC four-wheel drive. Whoops, my RC four-wheel drive hitch right here. But yeah, this is my RC four-wheel drive hitch. And these are what I was talking about, where the safety chains can actually go through. I don't know how well you can see that on this phone, but they are right here. And this is the SCX10 Jeep Rubicon Unlimited 2012. That's what this was, I mean, anyway. Only changes on it are the 3 sets of Proline 2.2 Super Swamper tires, dualies in the back. GMC top kick clear body from Proline. There's 2 versions of this body. I got the smaller of the 2, obviously, because I mean, with the bumpers at maximum extension, they just barely, especially the back, they just by a hairline, or like by like a 1/4 of an inch they come out. So I don't get any body damage if someone needs to push or pull, so that's always good. 55T Novag Terraclaw motor brushed. Very quiet motor. I got my 3 racing winch up front. I put an S hook on there just because the hook that comes with these things is pitiful. Really, no, that thing's gonna snap. Put chains on the body hooks, just because it's like a really quick and easy thing to take off, and that way you don't lose them on the trails, because I mean, I've lost several on the trails. On these smokestacks, the body actually does come with like plastic ones, but I saw someone on the forums, actually, not on the forums, but someone on I think it was DJ Medic's video, and someone had these on their Summit, like on their Top Kick Body Summit. That looked really cool, so I decided to make my own. Just made of aluminum tubes, and I drilled holes through both, and I just zip tied them. It works. I mean, they stay on. So, other decals. I mean, you can get these anywhere. RPM rubber mud flaps. I think these are made for a Slash. I'm pretty sure I got these at PM Hobbycraft. I just bolted them to the bumper because I did have to do some mods, obviously, because they're not for this truck. I can probably pop the body off here. Here we go. This is just a shoelace for my tow rope. I just measured. Did another bungee hook and just tied a knot in it to keep it on there. And then metal hook here. You can actually undo this just to make it like an actual hook. Which is cool. Because, I mean, it's solid steel, so I mean, you're not going to break this with RCs anyway. And it opens up like a thread like that. Proline accessories and whatnot on the roof basket. The roof rack itself is Proline. These 2 lights bought off of eBay for about $7 or $8 a piece. No shipping charges. They work great. I run this truck yesterday, and they plug right into the receiver box, so they work really well. Put this down for just a sec. Okay, as of right now, it's kind of sucky, because I gotta move the body like that, because the wiring is attached through the roof of the truck with the body, and then goes into my Traxxas waterproof receiver box, so I'm gonna have to find something to solve that, hopefully. like I tell people on the forums, I just use the DJ Medic method and the CrawlerTed method of waterproofing. I use double protection, but that's just me. I like to make sure stuff's gonna survive. Lights are pretty new. I mean, they're pretty simple to waterproof so far. I mean, they're not dead, so I mean, I must have did something right. Bought these off of eBay. I have 4 white, 2 orange in the front, and then in the back, 4 red brake lights. Right here, here, and here. They all run off of a 9-volt battery, which I have inside of a Ziploc. That's just sand on the outside. I haven't cleaned that out since the last trail run yesterday. Plugs into a 9-volt connector. Put that inside of a Ziploc bag, zipped it shut, and then zip tied the remainder of the bag shut just to keep water out, and I don't see any water in there, so it must be working. 3-racing winch. You can plug into the receiver box and then run off of a 3-channel transmitter. I don't have that. I just have the stock 2-channel Axial controller. I just plug it with the Tamiya connector it came with into a nickel metal battery in the back here. It's actually quite a big battery, too, a 5100 milliamp battery sits in the back. That's probably why parts of this truck are really freaking heavy. My LiPo I had here a second ago. Is under the truck. Nope. Okay, so I found the LiPo. LiPo is a Nanotech hard case LiPo pack. It's whoops. See if I can get this focused. There we go. 5600 milliamp, 2-cell 7.4 volt LiPo hard case. I run Traxxas connectors. I've heard good things about Traxxas and Dean's, bad things about Tamiya. I plastidiped and plastidip is just a liquid rubber. If you've seen any of those waterproofing videos that Medic did as well as CrawlerTed, that's the method I used. One place I can find this, and where I live here in Alberta, is Auto Value, like an automotive store. I could not find this anywhere else. Just a liquid rubber. They also make a spray as well, if you want a spray. Just a rubber coating. And then use this stuff here, marine grease. Bought this at Canadian Tire for like $8, I think. Put this on your bearings and drive shaft bearings, and even your diffs. And that prevents rust from deteriorating parts of those. But yeah, just take your plastidip, and I just put 3 layers, waited till each layer dried, and then put another layer on around the seams of my LiPo, up here, and up where the wires actually go into the cell. I layered that a couple of times, and even up here, and even all the way up here to my connector, just so in case if it got into the connector, I just play it safe. Layered it about 3 times. Hasn't died yet, so I mean, must be working. Because I mean, I submerged this truck quite a bit recently, and there hasn't been any problems, so it must be working. So yeah, this is the LiPo. Other parts of the truck that I've done. I don't remember what the gears are in the transmission off the top of my head, but I did get them appropriately matched for the big motor. The truck does drive very slow, but it has a lot of power. I do have a waterproof high-tech servo and a aluminum servo horn. The torque's really good and great servo. These are custom-made body posts for the body. Just made out of, I think it's aluminum. Like aluminum poles you can buy at like pretty much anywhere. Just bend them in a vise, shaped them to the nose shape, and those work for the big, huge, broad nose of the truck body. And the back posts are just the standard H-shaped ones. Because it is a monster truck body that is on this SCX10, so certain adjustments did have to be made. I did take some of this, which a friend of mine recommended using. Just this flex tube I bought at Home Depot. Just plastic coil stuff that you can put over your wiring and whatnot of your lights, just so when you're driving, if you hit a tree or like tree branches or twigs or something or rocks, then it doesn't nick and chip at your wiring. It's just an extra precaution. It kind of keeps it neat and tidy as well. I just zip tied it shut, tied it to frame of the truck just to kind of keep it out of the way, and it runs all the way back, even back here. I just kind of kept it as clean as I could. As for the ESC, I plasti dipped that, put it in a Tupperware container, had all of my ends come out the back here, plasti dipped that shut to make a rubber coat around the hole to keep all of that dry. Did that a couple times just to make sure it all layered right and there's no cracks in that, and I haven't had any problems with it yet, so again, must be working. Traxxas waterproof receiver box, bought that for I think like 10 bucks at the hobby store. Receiver's okay in there, hasn't died, must be working. And you think that's it actually. And I mean, yeah, it pulls the trailer and stuff, so I mean, it does what I want it to, so that's always good. So yeah, hopefully this answers the question. Any more questions, feel free to ask. So hopefully this answered your questions. But yeah, feel free to ask any more questions. It's pretty straightforward actually. I just followed the methods that the other guys used, and I took a lot of suggestions before I did all this. It's the same method I used with my Ridgecrest. It works in water just fine, hasn't died, must be working. I double check things every single time I come back from a run to make sure it's all working right and that there's no water where there shouldn't be and whatnot, just to give it the once over when you get it home. So yeah, big thumbs up to DJ Medic 2008 as well as CrawlerTedsGararage. Their waterproofing videos were phenomenal, and I followed them down to the T, and it's working. So I would take their advice if you ever need help. Watch their videos on YouTube, and yeah, that's all I did. So I mean, if it works for me, it'll probably work for you. So yeah, thanks again, and hopefully this helped. See ya.